Okay, well, let's jump into this. And this article is from mediapost.com. There's some numbers here. And some of this surprised me. Some of this flipped my thoughts and opinions on everyone going virtual on its head slightly. And the article was entitled B2B Goes Home, Brands Shift from Digital to Human Tactics. And from the article, I will verbatim here quoting, B2B marketers are suffering from digital fatigue. 81% of B2B revenue leaders think that their target audiences are suffering from digital exhaustion. Victor, are you suffering from digital exhaustion?
I do. I am suffering from it. Well, I suffer from a lot of things, but this is also part of it. I think we're all like, it's not so much digital exhaustion as it is like, I like the Zoom fatigue. I like the word fatigue because I think we're finding, some leverage with this digital. Now, notice the words here. 81% of B2B revenue leaders think. They think. They don't know. They think people are suffering from exhaustion. But I think people are suffering from poor meetings or poor meeting planning. And this is like, even when we go back to our daily lives in the offices, guess what? We all suffer from meeting fatigue. So I think it's true in the digital world as well.
I agree. You got to, as we talk about all the time, you got to put one piece of content or a data against another so that you got a comparable here. And so if you asked B2B revenue leaders if they think their target audiences are suffering from digital exhaustion, that's one thing. If you ask them, would they rather suffer from digital exhaustion than fly, travel, spend nights in hotels, whatever it is, which is the alternative, then they might be being slightly less soft about digital exhaustion moving forward.
I agree.
Okay, so it's following on from this post, this is over at mediapost.com. Again, quoting, making a shift. The top channel, this is B2B marketers, the top channel they plan to use in the next 12 months is direct mail, followed by direct phone calls. So they're trying to go, B2B marketers here, they're trying to go old school with some of this. Is there value in that, Victor?
There's always value in that. Like when we talked about omnichannel in the last episode of This Week in Sales, like anything else, it's always like a pendulum, right? So if it's, let's go digital, analog, it swings back and forth, eventually trying to find some steady state, but never quite getting there. So maybe we're moving back towards, hey, you know what? Maybe we should just kind of actually write our own email. Hey, you know what? Maybe we should actually pick up that phone. There's an idea for you. So I think it's a good idea.
For sure. And a few numbers from this post as well. Virtual events have grown by 1,000%. Marketing emails have increased by 62%. Sales calls by 28%. And ad spend during the pandemic period by 22%. So it could just be, as you're saying here, ad spend goes up. There's still only so many eyeballs on all these platforms. So you might have to spend more to get in front of the same people. Same with events, whether they be virtual or in person. The more events, if there's 1,000 more virtual events than there was kind of 12 months, 18 months ago, then of course there's going to be more competition. It's going to be harder to break through. And if people are doing less direct mail, less just picking up the phone, that's the hack, isn't it? That's the shortcut to break through some of the noise here.
And I think that's always it, right? Well, try to figure out, once it's moving in one direction, your job is to go the other direction. If it moves digital, let's go analog, let's pick up a phone. Everybody starts going phone, let's go ahead and go back to digital, and it swings back and forth. But I like this number, this sales calls by 28%. I like the fact that that's increased because I hate hearing that cold calling is dead. I think smart cold calling is always going to be around if they know how to do it correctly. So I'm glad that number's increasing a little bit. I mean, what are your thoughts on calling people in general?
It's done. It's dead. It's over. Try and call me, Victor. Victor, we've been doing the show for 22 episodes. I think this is episode 23.
23.
You don't have my number, do you?
I don't think I have your number, actually.
Yeah.
No.
And you can have it.
You're right. You're right. I don't have your phone number. Isn't that funny? That is funny.
I don't have any office phone. I have one mobile phone that I use for both personal and business. And most business calls that I do via Skype, even if it's an audio call. Just because it's so much easier, and most of my customers are in the US, and it's loads cheaper and more convenient to do kind of VoIP, voice over IP calls via something like Skype, rather than it's really grainy and horrible to connect over the a more traditional mobile signal.
Right.
So yeah, I'll give you my phone number after this episode, Victor. But which we talked about, I think it was last week or the week before, millennials are now moving into these buying positions, and I don't think it's an unusual case for millennials to have a mobile phone, no desk office phone, and it becoming more increasingly difficult to get hold of. So it's a strong statement to say cold calling's dead. I will use whatever tactic I can to get in front of a potential buyer, right, and get deals closed and move things forward. But in my experience, especially dealing with people, millennials, my kind of age, they want a text, they want an email, even if it's a text or an email to set up a call, an appointment and a meeting later on. Just to if someone just randomly cold called me and started pitching me, or and the other side of this, I've never had anyone cold call me and I've gone, that was really awesome. So maybe I'm missing out on some of this. I'm sure there are some people, right, that are so skilled that they can, if you cold call me, I'm sure you'd get my attention within a few seconds and maybe the conversation would go and move forward. But I've never had a good cold call ever. And I
got to say this. So yesterday, I had a coaching call, right? Gentleman wanted coaching. And he wanted to give me his pitch, right? And he gives me his pitch. And it sounds like every other pitch. It's that if da-da-da-da-da, would that be of interest to you? If da-da-da-da-da, are you interested in making more money or growing your business? And I'm like, I stopped him. And this is where I think cold calling fails. I stopped and I said, do you realize you sound like everybody else? And even your cadence is what I call siggy-songy, that a sales pitch is coming. It's like you can see it a mile away. In your case, a kilometer away, right? So you can see it at a distance. And I said to him, I said,
over here, Victor.
Oh, do you?
Yeah, cars, road signs, everything's in miles per hour. In Europe, they use kilometers.
Okay, my bad. So you're in Leeds. Got it. So I said to him, I said, just tell me how you can help me. And he goes into the pitch. I said, stop. Just tell me how you can help me. I just want you to tell me how you can help me in plain English, no jargon. Just give it to me straight. And it took us about 10 to 15 minutes just to get there because he couldn't do it. And he didn't appreciate his value. And that's why I think cold calling is lost. That's why I think the art of cold calling is missing. Everybody's too scripty, too singy-songy. And if that's you, stop doing it.